All right, getting ready for an advertising installer interview.
Let's dive into some RoleCatcher intel.
Give you a real edge. We've got stuff from their career guide
Interview guide.
and even a peek at their AI platform. Think of this as a crash course.
Yeah.
Not just what to say, but why.
The why is huge.
To impress those hiring managers.
It's amazing how RoleCatcher puts it all together, the big picture
Right.
and the specific skills you need.
So it's like they're saying...
Here's where you could go,
Yeah.
and here's how to get there.
Exactly. So before we get to the interview questions, set the scene for us. What does an advertising installer actually do day to day?
Well, think about all those cool ads you see everywhere. Buildings, buses, even shopping malls.
Right.
The advertising installer is the one who makes them happen.
So you're literally shaping the look of a city.
Totally.
Wow.
It's a mix of hands-on skills, visual creativity, and on-the-spot problem solving.
Definitely not your typical desk job.
Yeah.
Definitely not. The RoleCatcher Career Guide emphasizes the variety. One day, you're scaling a building to put up a huge billboard. The next, you're carefully wrapping a bus. Lots of challenges.
Speaking of RoleCatcher, their platform is packed with resources.
It's crazy.
Over 3,000 career guides, 13,000 skill guides.
Plus 17,000 interview guides. And get this, a 9,000 global employer database.
Wow, that's mind-boggling. But I think their AI-powered CV and resume builder is a real game changer.
It's not just about a polished resume.
Right.
This AI actually digs into job descriptions
Wow.
and tailors your application to highlight what employers are looking for.
So it's like a personal resume assistant saying, hey, this employer wants someone organized. Boom, let's showcase that time you managed that complex project.
Exactly. And employers can search RoleCatcher's database for specific skills.
Oh, really?
You're not just applying, you might get discovered. Companies are actively searching.
Okay, that changes everything. But let's get down to business.
Acing that interview. RoleCatcher gives us 9 sample questions to really dig into what it takes to be an advertising installer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not messing around.
They make you think.
And that's where those RoleCatcher insights come in,
Right.
revealing what the interviewer is really listening for.
Like what's beneath the surface.
Exactly. All right, question 1. Describe your experience with advertising installations. Seems straightforward, but what's the catch?
They want to know you have experience,
Of course.
but also how you talk about it. Do you highlight problem solving, adaptability to crazy situations? Can you give concrete examples to show a deep understanding of the job?
So it's not just listing tasks, it's showing your approach, what you've learned,
Yes.
and how those experiences make you a better installer.
Exactly. And here's where RoleCatcher's AI feedback is amazing. You can actually write out your answer.
Really?
And the AI will analyze it, giving you tips to make it stronger.
Wait, the AI reads my answer and gives feedback? That's wild. Like having a virtual interview coach. Okay, next question. How do you ensure the safety of the installation process? Safety is a big deal in this job, but how do you tackle this one?
You have to show that you don't just know the safety protocols, you live by them. Don't just say you follow the rules. Talk about specific measures you always take.
Like what?
Meticulously checking equipment, using harnesses correctly, even communicating clearly with your team to prevent problems.
This ties back to what we saw in the career guide, right? They really emphasize that health and safety knowledge is a must from day one.
Absolutely. It's not just a checkbox. It's fundamental to the role. Be ready for follow-up questions like, what if a coworker isn't following safety procedures?
So that's a good one.
That's where you show leadership
Yeah,
and commitment to a safe environment for everyone.
right. That makes sense. Okay, question 3. How do you handle unexpected challenges during the installation process? I feel like every job has those moments where things go totally off script.
Those are the moments interviewers want to hear about.
Really?
They're testing your problem solving. Can you think on your feet? Are you resourceful? Don't just say it.
Right.
Show them. Give a specific example of a challenge and how you overcame it. Highlight your adaptability.
So basically, raid your memory bank for those MacGyver moments and have those stories ready.
Exactly. RoleCatcher really encourages that kind of storytelling.
Okay, let's tackle question 4. How do you ensure that installations are completed on time and within budget? Sounds like they're looking for someone who's super organized, efficient, and maybe has a secret stash of time turners.
Time turners would be handy.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, this is your chance to show off project management skills.
Even if you haven't had a formal project management role.
Even then, think about times you managed your time well,
Okay.
prioritized tasks,
Yeah.
or made adjustments to stay on budget.
And this connects to the career progression we saw in the RoleCatcher guide, right?
Yeah.
As you move from trainee to, say, supervisor, those budget and timeline responsibilities become even more important.
Exactly. It's about the bigger picture.
Okay, question 5. How do you ensure that installations comply with local laws and regulations? This feels like a potential minefield if you're not careful.
It can be. They want to know you're not just going to slap an ad up anywhere.
Right.
Show them you understand permits,
Right.
zoning, and any legal requirements.
So, again, it's not enough to say, I follow the rules.
Yeah.
You need concrete examples.
Right. Maybe you had to research local laws before, or
Sure.
you spotted a conflict and told your supervisor. These details matter.
And this is a good time to mention that RoleCatcher's AI tools go beyond resumes and written answers. You can record yourself answering questions
Oh, yeah.
and get AI analysis on your delivery, body language, everything.
It's incredibly valuable for practicing and getting confident.
All right, question 6. Describe your experience working with clients during the installation process. I have a feeling this goes beyond just a friendly smile.
Absolutely. Think about everyone involved in an installation.
Okay.
The client, the property owner, maybe even city officials.
Right.
They want to see you can communicate effectively.
So being diplomatic is important.
Very. Manage expectations, resolve issues diplomatically.
So strong communication, diplomacy, maybe even conflict resolution experience would be good to mention.
Definitely. It's a chance to highlight teamwork experience, too.
Oh, yeah. Installations are often team efforts. Okay, question 7. How do you ensure that installations are of high quality and meet client expectations? What are the key points here?
Attention to detail is huge.
Got it.
Talk about how you make sure the ad is installed right,
Right.
visually appealing,
Yeah.
and matches the client's vision.
So precise measurements.
Yes,
Oh,
all
got
of
it.
that. It's about going above and beyond.
It's not just checking boxes. It's exceeding expectations
Yeah.
and creating something impactful. Okay, on to question 8. How do you manage competing priorities and deadlines for multiple installation projects? That feels like a skill that translates to any career.
It does. Time management, prioritization,
Yeah.
organization, those are essential for any advertising installer.
And that links back to what RoleCatcher says about career progression. As you move up, you're more likely to juggle multiple projects, maybe even manage a team.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, question 9. How do you stay up to date with new installation technologies and techniques? Advertising is constantly changing, so I imagine staying current is super important.
It's crucial. This question is about your commitment to learning and how adaptable you are. Talk about industry stuff you read,
Right.
conferences you've been to, or online resources you use.
So don't just say you're a fast learner.
Right.
Back it up with specific examples of how you actively seek out new information and actually use it.
Exactly. And this is where you can highlight relevant skills or certifications.
Like what?
If you've taken a course on digital signage installation or you're good with certain software, mention that.
It all goes back to that idea of continuous learning that RoleCatcher emphasizes. It's not just about getting the job, it's about constantly growing and evolving.
Exactly. And that's what makes RoleCatcher such a valuable resource. They're giving you the tools to build a successful career.
Well said.
Yeah.
You know, what strikes me about these questions is how much they focus on the human element of this job.
Right.
Of course, you need those hands-on skills and the ability to handle heights,
Right.
but communication, problem solving, even creativity, those are huge.
Absolutely. It's not just about putting up an ad. It's about understanding the client's vision,
Yeah.
working with your team, and thinking on your feet.
Speaking of different skills, the RoleCatcher Career Guide points out some interesting specializations. Did you know that customer service knowledge is a big one? Apparently, 58% of the field needs that expertise.
It makes sense when you think about it. You're always interacting with clients,
Right.
property owners,
Yeah.
sometimes even city officials.
Yeah.
Being able to handle those conversations, keep everyone in the loop, and troubleshoot on the spot, that's valuable.
So even if you're not in a client-facing role, those people skills matter. It's all about keeping things running smoothly and everyone happy.
Exactly. They also highlight building and construction knowledge.
Which makes sense.
About 56% of the field needs it. Knowing construction basics, materials, even how to read blueprints, that can give you a real advantage.
Especially as you aim for roles like supervisor or manager. You're not just installing anymore. You're planning, coordinating, maybe even dealing with structural problems.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you map out those career stages. You can see what skills you'd need to move up and find relevant training, all right there on the platform.
Okay, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about RoleCatcher's AI features in a bit more detail.
It really is. It's like you give the AI the job description, and it picks it apart, finding those keywords and skills
Right.
that employers really care about.
So it's not just about having a polished resume.
Yeah.
It's about speaking directly to that specific employer.
Exactly. And then it suggests how to tweak your resume to highlight those skills.
Right.
Maybe reword something to show leadership experience,
Yeah.
or add a section about your software skills.
So it takes the guesswork out.
Exactly. It also analyzes your written answers to interview questions. You type it out,
Really?
and the AI gives you feedback.
Wow, that's amazing. So you can practice, make them better, and go into the interview feeling super confident.
Exactly. And don't forget their video practice feature.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You record yourself
Okay.
and get AI feedback on your delivery. Body language, tone of voice, the whole 9 yards.
It's like having a coach analyze your every move.
Mm.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. I
Right.
want to go over a few more.
Sounds good. Remember, these questions are testing your skills
Uh-huh.
and also your thought process.
Right, how you approach things. All right, let's go back to that question about handling unexpected challenges. You talked about having those MacGyver moments ready.
Right, but it's not just about telling a cool story.
Okay.
It's about showing how you solve problems.
So break it down for me. How should someone approach this?
Think about a time when something went wrong on a project.
Okay.
Maybe a deadline changed,
Yeah, I've been there.
materials were late, or there was a sudden change of plans. What was the situation? What was your specific job?
So you're setting the scene, outlining the challenge.
Exactly. Then describe what you did. How did you figure out the problem? What steps did you take? Did you think outside the box? Collaborate with others.
Okay, so you're showing off those critical thinking skills.
Right. And finally, don't forget the outcome, what happened because of your actions.
So you wrap it up with a clear success story.
Exactly. This is called the STAR method.
September.
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay, I like it.
It's super effective for these behavioral questions, and RoleCatcher's AI can analyze those STAR responses, making sure you've got all the pieces.
It's like having a coach guide you through the whole thing. Let's move on to another tough one. Ensuring installations comply with local laws. Feels like there's a lot of room for error there.
There is. They want to know you understand the importance of permits, zoning restrictions, and all those legal things.
So you have to show that you're not going to cut corners.
Exactly. A great way to answer is to show how proactive you are.
Give me an example.
Let's say you're prepping for an installation near a historic landmark.
Okay.
You could talk about how you researched local laws
Right.
to make sure the installation wouldn't damage anything.
So you're thinking ahead, preventing problems before they happen.
Exactly. Or maybe you spot a problem with the zoning regulations while on a job.
Uh-huh.
You could talk about telling your supervisor
Okay.
and working together to find a solution.
So again, you're showing responsibility, doing things the right way.
Right. And it always helps to mention training or certifications you have in safety or regulations.
Okay, good point. Let's tackle that question about staying up to date with new tech and techniques. Seems important in advertising where things change so fast.
It is. They're checking your commitment to learning and adapting.
So how do you show that?
This is where you talk about industry publications you read, online forums you follow, maybe even podcasts like this one.
Hey, thanks for the plug.
Yeah.
But seriously, you need to show that you're actively learning and keeping up.
Exactly. And be specific. Did you go to a webinar on digital signage?
Okay.
Have you tried a new vinyl wrapping technique?
Right. Those details show you're not just reading stuff, you're using it.
Right. And if you have certifications or have taken courses in new tech, mention those too.
It's all about showing that you're invested in your professional growth.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's platform is great for staying current.
Oh, yeah.
They have links to industry publications, training, and updates on new tech.
Like a library of professional development all in one place.
Exactly. Their AI can even help you figure out which skills are in high demand and suggest resources.
So you can tailor your learning to the industry and stand out as a candidate.
Now, let's talk about a question that often trips people up. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a client. This is your chance to shine.
So how do you make this answer stand out?
Pick an example that's both relevant and memorable. Don't just say you did your job well. Go deeper.
Okay.
What was special about the situation? What extra steps did you take? What was the impact on the client?
So paint a picture and focus on the results.
Yes. Did you save them money?
Okay.
Finish early.
Uh-huh.
Get great feedback. Those details matter.
Right. They show the value you bring.
And don't be afraid to talk about your personal qualities. Did you have great communication?
Yeah.
Were you a problem solver?
Right.
Did you show dedication to quality?
So weave those soft skills into your story.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI feedback can help you polish your answer.
Like having an editor for your interview responses. Now let's go back to that question about managing competing priorities and deadlines.
Okay.
I want to highlight the STAR method again.
Right, a great framework.
Remind us what it stands for.
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
You set the scene, describe your task, explain your actions, and then highlight the results.
It's a nice, clear structure. Makes it easy to follow.
Exactly. And you can use it for a lot of interview questions.
Really?
Not just time management. And RoleCatcher's AI can analyze those STAR answers, too.
It's like a virtual coach, making sure you're hitting all the right points. Speaking of coaches, let's not forget about RoleCatcher's video practice. You could record yourself and get AI feedback on how you come across.
It's a fantastic way to practice and boost your confidence.
Okay, we've talked about a lot here. RoleCatcher's resources, some tough questions, but there's one more that often makes people nervous.
Uh-oh, which one?
What are your salary expectations?
The dreaded salary question. It can be uncomfortable.
So how do you handle it?
Do your research. RoleCatcher has tons of salary data.
Okay.
Check the average salary for advertising installers in your area, considering your experience and skills.
And don't forget cost of living. If you're in a pricey city, your salary needs to reflect that. Okay, so you've done your research. What if they ask for a number right away?
Try to deflect it.
Okay.
You could say, I'm flexible and more interested in finding the right fit. Can you tell me the salary range for this role?
Okay, so you're turning it back on them a bit. And if they insist on a number?
Give a range, not a specific figure. Based on my research and experience, I'm looking for something between X and Y.
Okay, that makes sense.
And be ready to back up your expectations.
Yeah.
If you want more than average, explain why you're worth it.
Right. Highlight your accomplishments and skills.
And remember, negotiation is key. The first offer might not be the final one.
True. And RoleCatcher's AI can be a big help here too, right?
Right.
Analyzing salary data to figure out a competitive range.
Exactly. It's about using the right resources to get the job and a salary that reflects your value.
Okay, with that, we're going to wrap up this part of our deep dive into advertising installer interviews.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more soon. Okay, we're back, ready to wrap up our look at advertising installer interviews.
You know, as we've been talking, I'm really struck by how much they emphasize the people side of this job.
Yeah, it's not all about harnesses and heights.
Right. You need those hands-on skills. But communication, problem solving, even a little creativity.
Yeah.
Those are key.
Totally. It's about understanding the client, the team.
Exactly.
And being able to adapt when things go sideways.
Speaking of those different skills, the RoleCatcher Career Guide mentions some interesting specializations, like customer service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 58% of these roles need expertise in that.
So even if you're not dealing directly with clients every day, those people skills are super valuable.
Absolutely. Keeping everyone on the job site informed and happy makes things run so much smoother.
Totally. They also mention building and construction knowledge.
Right. About 56% of the field needs that. Knowing construction basics, materials, how to read blueprints.
That's a good point.
It can really give you an advantage.
Especially as you move up to those supervisor or manager roles.
Exactly. You're not just installing anymore. You're planning, coordinating, maybe even dealing with structural issues.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help you map out those career stages.
Absolutely. You can see what skills you need and find training right there on the platform.
It's like having a career counselor in your pocket.
Oh!
Okay, final thoughts. The source material mentions creativity, even in this hands-on job. What do you think that means?
Well, I think it goes back to problem solving. Maybe you have to find a clever way to install an ad in a tricky spot.
Okay.
Or come up with a unique, eye-catching way to hang a banner. It's about thinking outside the box, being resourceful.
And that's something you can definitely talk about in your interview. Think about times when you had to be resourceful, when you had to think on your feet and come up with a creative solution.
Those examples show you can adapt, that you're not just a pair of hands.
Right. So you've got the roadmap for those interview questions.
Yes.
Insights into the career path. And you know, RoleCatcher has a ton of resources and tools, but it's your unique experiences that'll make you stand out. Go get them.